I'm inspiring. Peace and quiet, I'm running from the sirens. They ain't been around, but they know about where I've been. Had to put the time in to let them know what time. Fuck a plug.
Welcome back to another episode of the Head First Podcast. I'm JP Sponseller, joined as always by Cole Harding and Corey Klingenbeck. Tonight we got another special guest, actually a reoccurring guest from when me and my brothers started the original show a few years ago. But now that he's back on the college baseball scene, we had to get him back on the Head First Podcast. Nick Bennett. Nick, what's going on, man?
Hey, how we doing, fellas? Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk a little shop, talk a little ball, and continue to grow the game of college baseball. That's what we're here for, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Nick is the newest addition to the Kent State Golden Flashes baseball staff. But before we get into his story and his career a little bit, let's break him in with some fan questions, and I prepared a couple for Nick myself here. First questions from the fans. We got a few from Jack Franke here. Awesome. First, before this question, I wanted to ask Nick, obviously long minor league career with the Brewers. You are a Cincinnati native.
Yep.
Where does your MLB fandom reside right now?
I'm a Reds fan, man. Just born and raised in the city. Cincinnati's always going to be home to me. Grew up watching the Reds. My mom and dad used to love taking me to Reds games. My fiance and I have been to a few Reds games after the minor league season's over. We've snuck into a couple end of the season games. So my fandom resides in Cincinnati 100%.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, awesome. needed that.
Yeah, that was a good start. All right, so his question is thoughts on Suarez back to the Reds, and is this our year?
I love the pickup by the Reds. It's a familiar face for them, and also a guy who hits a good amount of pumps. So having that in Cincinnati, I know a lot of my teammates have always talked about the best, just it being in AAA and AA coming up with, guys who've been in the show and are playing in the show. They love hitting in Cincinnati. So I feel like that's going to benefit the Reds in a really healthy way, having him, because he's a big bopper. So I like that. And I think there's some promise around the team, definitely, heading into spring training here shortly. So is it the Reds' year? I don't know. I feel like it's better to not be super optimistic and just let them, kind of work through the year and see where it goes. But I definitely like how they're rounding out the roster here heading into spring training.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think biggest thing that kind of jumped out to me is we all knew that we were looking for a power bat 100%. In that lineup. And there were some talks of Schwarber, who's obviously very well known. Everyone loves him. I think Suarez kind of flies under the radar a little bit as far as 100%. A power bat. And I feel like being in the Reds' financial situation, being able to grab him for $15 million opposed to the $50 that we would have paid Kyle Schwarber, I think that's a good deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Cole.
I was going to say, I think another thing that stood out to me was just like the videos of when he arrived back in Cincy. He genuinely just looks so happy to be back in Cincinnati. So you can tell he loves the city. I mean, obviously he's going to love hitting in Great American because fences aren't too deep. But that was a big thing that stuck out to me. He loved the people of the organization, which I think is an underrated thing or something people might overlook.
No doubt. I think the city does a really good job of showing their appreciation for just the whole team, but also obviously a guy like that, he's coming back for a reason. He had to feel that appreciation too,
Yeah. And we finally get to watch Suarez and Jim Day post-game interviews once again.
Those interviews slap. I'm excited for those.
They're the best.
Good vibes only.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and our next question from Jack Franke. He said, long-time listener, first-time caller. Not true. He submits a lot of questions. Saw that Drew Carey was a Kent State alum. Drew Carey, a long-time game show host. got me thinking, what game show would you give yourself the best chance of winning?
Wow, that's a crazy question. I see. I'm not a trivia. I'm bad at trivia. And most of
Me
these
too.
game shows are trivia based. Ooh. First off, I'd like to hear what you three would say to that question. Honestly,
Okay.
like I know I'm like not supposed to flip the question, but like, what would you? How would you guys answer that?
I can go first. I got a couple that I think I'm pretty good at.
Go ahead, Cole.
Family Feud's a big one.
All right.
So in college, we went through there was 1 year where we just had the game show on for some reason, like every day.
Okay.
We would just sit there and crush like 3 hours worth of the game shows. Family Feud was always on. And then Chain Reaction was another one. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I don't even know that one.
I don't know that one.
I have no idea what that is.
It just gives you the first letter of like a whole word. So it'd be like it's words that connect. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
I've seen clips of that.
Yeah. If I saw it, I would understand it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a new TikTok trend where they write out the first letter of the word and you try to guess what word's underneath the other one. But
okay.
That one might be good for me. I actually, out of all things, my ability to spell has always been very good.
Okay.
Really good with words. I kind of went the alternate route, though. I just Google searched game shows to really give myself a lot of options.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with probably one of my personal favorites. I'm going to go with Survivor. I think Throw Me Out on the Island. And I don't know if that's a valid answer for what we were talking about, but
sure.
I'd say whatever.
I'd like to display my talents
I feel like that
there.
fits the category, I think.
Yeah. It's a show and it's a game.
I think I'm going with an oldie, but a goodie. Deal or No Deal.
Oh.
That one's
Deal or No Deal.
I thought you were going to go with Naked and Afraid. I figured that'd be a really good one for you. You'd kill that.
I would. Naked and Afraid would be heat. But I was thinking more of like, I don't know, more like the games, not like.
Yeah. No,
TV.
Naked and Afraid popped up in my searches, and I just immediately thought Clang.
I mean, I guess for me, like, the first one that popped in my head was, are you smarter than a fifth grader? But like I said, I'm bad with like trivia, so that's not the game for me. Cole mentioned Family Feud. You did mention, what was the one you mentioned? Family Feud?
Yeah, Family Feud.
Okay.
I think we could go on there as like a
Price
squad.
is Right.
I was going to say, like, I feel like a group effort would be more my kind of would be more for me, where I could bounce ideas off my teammates and whatnot. So I with that being said, I'd go Family Feud, I think.
Yeah, I honestly would throw you out for Survivor too, as far as making like I've never met anyone that dislikes Nick Bennett or thinks he's an asshole. So
that's fair. That's very fair.
I don't know. I feel like you'd have a lot of fans on that island. True.
Sometimes
it can hurt in those
sometimes being
games.
the nice guy doesn't work out. It doesn't work out sometimes.
John, we'll have to find a way to submit like an entry and see if we can get on the show. Family Feud.
Yeah. Family
as a squad of four. Yeah.
First podcast.
We should.
Nick Bennett.
We'll start putting in submissions like weekly.
Yeah.
Just keep blowing them up. Keep blowing them up till they bring us on.
All right, moving into our next question. I prepared a couple for you here. Give me your gas station essentials. I'm curious, obviously, if that may change here in the next couple weeks going into your playing or into your coaching career.
Sure. Gas station essential for me is going to be dill pickle seeds of the Biggs variety, if they have them. And a Gatorade is my other go-to. If I'm feeling frisky, maybe a Kit Kat as well.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm pretty solid on those three things right there.
Okay.
What flavor Gatorade? Does it matter?
Blue for the most part for me. Now I'll venture out, maybe grab an orange or a little purple, but I've always been a blue guy for the most part.
G2 original Gatorade.
Original, or if I'm feeling healthy that day, maybe a little Gatorade Zero. you know, but I feel like there is a significantly, which makes sense, significantly different taste from Gatorade Zero to like, you know, the sugary Gatorade. So,
Yeah.
so whoever designed that by in terms of health, they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
All right. Go ahead. Was someone about to say something?
No. Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, what would you have to say if you had to pick one, the favorite college baseball stadium you've ever played in?
Well, the least favorite pops into my head right away, and that is I'll give both ends of the spectrum here. That is Texas Tech Stadium, and not that I dislike the actual stadium itself, just the atmosphere is suffocating. I'll be honest. The atmosphere is suffocating, and props to them, props to their fan base. But in 2018, when I had to pitch there. I've never really had an issue with like, you know, blocking out the outside noise of what's going on in the baseball game. But I distinctly remember that year I struggled at Texas Tech being able to do that. So props to them for that on the least favorite. Now
I've heard that's also not the best place to pitch either.
It's not
definitely not the best place to pitch, and I'll tell you, they're not the most friendliest people either. So, you know, they're not buddying up with you and you know, giving you a little food on the way out of the park. Like that's not going on over there. Maybe it's changed in
big time.
Recent years. Okay,
big time. I mean, out from my experience this past year, I mean, any of the guys can answer, but you know, they had those unreal years. It was like 14 to 19.
Right. Oh, and unbelievable.
And it fell off like crazy the last 2 or 3 years. I don't know what happened, but last year we played. I mean, it did snow in April. I want to say we went down. It snowed.
That's insane.
But there was probably all 3 games. I think it combined for maybe 1,000 people.
Wow.
Maybe 1,000.
Wow.
Like I remember the first game on Friday because it was played one Friday, off Saturday, snow. Played 2 on Sunday. That Friday game, there might have been like 400 people there.
And they just had the old dress like a chairback going on.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So,
absolutely.
So
it was crazy. No, absolutely. You know, I mean, I watched Cal Conley play there when they were in those super regionals, and it was elbows to assholes. You couldn't move in that place.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. My experience there, I feel like there was like not enough space in the stadium.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a crazy turnaround. But to answer the question, JP, I think my favorite place to play was Clemson. I just really liked the environment there was really cool. It was always good weather when we played at Clemson, I felt like. And the stadium is it feels like it's like tightly packed in there kind of. And the surface was always really nice. And I remember always walking out in the grass to like start warming up. And I was like, you know, this is kind of like a show environment. They do a really good job of taking care of the whole entire field. And that place always stuck out to me as like my favorite road place to go to, just in terms of environment where we were. The dugouts were really nice, big dugout. So I like that as well. And then just the playing surface was always quality, I felt like.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I've not made my way to Clemson yet. I know Cole played there.
Yeah, we opened my freshman year. We opened there.
Okay.
I think what makes a stadium like so much better is just like outfield seating.
I agree with that.
It's like a huge game changer for me.
I definitely agree with that.
Like, especially bleachers, not just like, I mean, East Carolina, they have like chairs and people leaning on the wall or whatever, but like bleachers in the outfield, like, elevates a stadium. And, I mean, it gives you that enclosure feeling.
Definitely agree with that.
But the surface was super nice. I mean, it was week 1, so the weather wasn't the warmest when we went. But wait, what was your thoughts on the bullpen? Because I know there was
that's a fair point.
Last year,
I saw that.
They have all the students down the line there, right?
It's like right there. Into the bullpen, basically.
Now I'm thinking back on that. Honestly, if I don't really recall if that was a big deal back when I was playing in college, but I will say we went to a few places where maybe it was similar to that environment. And if anything, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I feel like, like I think that stuff is like what makes the game good. Like you're the starting pitcher, you come into a hostile environment, you got their students yelling at you, they're all boozed up, drinking some cold sodas and whatnot. They're chirping at you while you're warming up. Like I think that's like fuel to the fire in a way, so like I don't see any negativity in that regard.
Yeah, I feel like it's two sides of the spectrum there. Like you either love it or they're just
Sure.
out there like waiting for that freshman like late inning reliever, and then he starts warming up, they get in his head a little bit, and then he goes out there and just
Yeah. Now I could see like maybe bullpen, guys in the bullpen who are just kind of getting chirped the whole entire time while they're sitting down there. Maybe a different reaction.
They're getting hot 3 different times, and there's
right. You get them to their third or fourth cold soda, and that's when they really start going in on the relievers. So I could see how it's a little bit different for those guys. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that does it for our questions for this week. Let's get into Nick Bennett, the person, the player, the now coach. Obviously, you had a fantastic career with the Louisville Cardinals from 2017 to 2019. Yep. Made 2 trips to Omaha there with the Cards. If you had to pick out maybe 1 or 2 moments that were your favorite moments in college baseball, what do you think they would be?
I think my most favorite moment was just Coach Mack having the trust in me to pitch in the College World Series as a true freshman. I think that experience kind of helped me propel going forward as a baseball player because you have to have confidence in yourself in that situation. And then the other thing with that was the guy that I was pitching against is Nick Lodolo of the Cincinnati Reds. And he's a really special talent as well. So just being in that environment, 2 freshmen going at it against each other. And also that was my first loss of my freshman year was in the College World Series. And obviously, I wish it would have went the other way, but just in that environment, freshman versus freshman, Nick Lodolo was having a really good freshman year as well. And then to just kind of see Nick Lodolo continue to rise to the top. And obviously now he's a big part of the Cincinnati Reds. Like that was a really cool moment for me that just kind of like, I'll never really forget because that's what kind of feel like started my baseball career in a sense from college into pro baseball was like, hey, this is what you're going to go up against every day when you continue to play at the highest level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that was probably my favorite memory. My second favorite memory, I would say, I don't know if you guys have you guys ever been to Omaha? Have you gone to the tournament, all 3 of you guys?
No, I'm trying to get playing out there his first time this year, but I'm making it back out.
I just think the tournament as a whole is a really good product of college baseball. And my junior year, obviously I went my freshman year. We lost in the Texas Tech regional my sophomore year. And then my junior year, we went back. And I think just another memory for me, my junior year being there once already was just kind of taking it all in the second time. Like you go the first time and, you try to take it in, but it's just like, it feels like it moves so fast. Whereas my junior year, when I went there, like I remember telling my dad that like, I just really wanted to like be able to soak it all in. And I think I did a really good job of that. And, I know that's not like a specific memory, but like just the atmosphere, there's so many fans there. It's televised on ESPN and like it is really a showcase of college baseball, which I think is really cool. So that was my goal going into it. And then obviously, we had some success that year as well in the College World Series. So that always makes it cool too. But like I said, I feel like I did a way better job of actually like soaking it in for what it's worth, and my appreciation for the College World Series has always been at an all-time high since then.
Yeah, no, that was actually going to be one of my next questions as I ask anyone who has been to Omaha just to kind of touch on the overall experience. I know I've been out there a few times trying to make it a yearly thing. And yeah, it's not just the baseball. I just think the whole event, everything, the whole town is pretty much shut down for the week.
Right.
It's awesome.
It's a really well-ran event. I fully believe that. Like you said, the town's kind of shut down. Like, it's just baseball, baseball, baseball. You know, like they do a really good job of promoting the 8 teams that make it. They do a really good job of like making all 8 teams feel welcome. Getting all the same treatment, you know, all the interviews and before you even throw a pitch or before there's even somebody on the field playing a game, like all of those activities are really cool. And it's a big time event that I think even as like for people listening, like fan wise, like it's definitely a must. If you're into college baseball, like that will, I think, even take you further into college baseball for sure.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
We had a few guys that said, I think they got to go to like the zoo and like a military base. Did you guys do any of that?
We didn't do, I think some guys did go to the zoo because you do have some incorporated off days there where they kind of just expand the tournament as long as possible, which I also like. They're not trying to rush through it, which I think is great. But there definitely were some guys that took a trip to the zoo, but I remember both years I was there, my whole family was there. So there was a lot of like in that downtime, we would have practice, and then it was either we'd have a team meal as a group, or it was a team meal and your parents and family and whoever else could come, or you'd be out to eat with your family. So there was a lot of activities to do outside of like going up and going there and showing up to play baseball, which I thought was cool too, because that way you're not just like, you know, you're not beating yourself up over like playing baseball. You're just kind of, it's almost like you're being a pro, you know, like as a pro, you go out to eat, you go to breakfast, lunch, then you head to the field, and that's when you dive into like the baseball player. So it was kind of similar to that, which I really liked.
On top of your 2 trips to Omaha, you said you went there your freshman year and then go back your junior year. And other than stoking it all in that third year or your second year there, what would you say to college baseball players going into this year about taking all in Omaha and who did there?
Yeah, I think obviously as a freshman and your first time in Omaha for anybody, not even if you're just a freshman, but like you don't really know what to expect until you get there. And it's like you hear all these things like don't let the game speed up on you, you know, like be in the moment and like don't try and block out all the noises and stuff. And it's like, I don't think that's how it should be at all. I think you should be like getting involved with all of that, you know, like that's going to be able to like, I feel like calm you down more than anything. And I could tell a noticeable difference from my freshman year to my junior year there, where like when I went back, I was like, obviously you're a little bit more comfortable, but like you kind of know how it all works now. And so it's a little bit easier to just be in the moment and then look up and see that crowd and just kind of like enjoy that and smile about that. So like, I think for, you know, guys and teams that are getting ready to start on Friday, like aspiring to go to Omaha and make a deep run in the postseason, like you kind of have to enjoy those moments. Like those moments aren't something to get beat up over or like freak out about. I think those are the moments where you smile, you take a deep breath, and you really excel in those type of atmospheres.
Right.
No, that's interesting. I feel like that's more of a new age style of thinking, especially when you hear like mental coaches or sports psychologists, is you should feel something before those big games. You shouldn't be telling yourself to feel nothing. It's just more of channeling that into excitement instead of nervousness.
Yeah, you gotta eat those emotions up. Like it's good for you. Like that means it means you care. It means you like are ready for what's about to happen. You're ready to go out there and play. Like, I think having those emotions is like really good. If you weren't nervous, if you didn't have, little butterflies in your stomach before opening day, or like when you're in Omaha, like that's when you should be asking those questions. But like, you're sweating before the game even starts, you're a little bit nervous, a little bit tense. Like that's a sign of showing you care, in my opinion, as a baseball player. So that's a good thing. And you kind of want to, build up off of that.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I know you haven't been on the Golden Flashes staff for too long, haven't been on the road yet, haven't coached your first game yet, so this might be a little tough, but what do you think you have missed the most about college baseball in your time apart from it?
I think it was the friendships that I had. Like I see all the guys at practice and just like they're brothers to one another. And that brings me back to my time at Louisville. Like I feel like we were a very close knit group of guys, just kind of doing what we do, having fun, playing the game. And that's what I kind of miss the most about college baseball is like, because it's a little bit different than minor league baseball. Minor league baseball is like, hey, I'm playing to get to somewhere else. And it's just a little bit different thought process. And don't get me wrong, like that's how you get to the big leagues, is like worrying about what you're doing out there. You can still be a good teammate by all means. Don't get me wrong. And I have a million good teammates in minor league baseball, but in college baseball, it just feels like you're all pulling for the same thing in a way, and you spend every day, every second together. If you're not in class, you're at the field. If the weekend's over, you're hanging out with the guys on the team, watching a movie, or just doing simple life things together, So I think that's what I've noticed most from like getting back into the college baseball world is like everybody is just, the teams are really close with one another. And I'm sure you guys can attest to that too. Like when you guys were playing, like you guys did everything together, and that's what I think is really cool.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely obviously you miss playing, you wish you could suit up one more time, but
Sure.
That's always the thing. My answer when people ask me is just like being in the locker room with the guys, doing everything together. Yeah, I mean, there's honestly not. I haven't found anything like to kind of explain the bond or the.
Right.
I don't know. It's hard to explain to people that haven't
No,
done
it
it or
is.
been through
There's
it.
nothing like it.
Go ahead, Corey.
There's nothing like it. I mean,
I agree.
right? Like you said, like in minor league, I'm sure it's a lot more different. You play to get somewhere, you're playing to get to that next level. But like, I mean, college baseball, it's like you're either playing those handful of guys to go to the next level, or 75, 80% of the team's like done. So
right, exactly. Not everybody goes pro in college baseball. So like college baseball is like that's the big deal for them. And like I feel like as a team, that's kind of like well known for everybody that like, hey, for some guys this might be it, and that's perfectly fine. But like that's where like the camaraderie and friendship and gamesmanship and teammates and locker room environment comes into play with all of that, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Now talking about kind of the grind of minor league baseball a little bit. Obviously, when you talk to different people, they had very different experiences. It's oftentimes that day-to-day grind where, especially a guy like you go from being on TV every weekend at Louisville to then you're playing high A and moving up and down from double A and triple A. What if you were to give any advice to some of these guys that are going through it now, or some of these college guys that are about to venture into the minor leagues and deal with that day-to-day grind? What is some advice do you think you would give to those guys?
Yeah, I think for me, I learned early on that like you don't got to worry about like what anybody else is doing in regards to like, hey, like, is this guy getting called up before me? Or like, comparing like, stats and all of that. Like comparison is like the worst thing you can do in minor league baseball, because it's not always like a stat based decision. That's just the bottom line. Like sometimes there's other reasons involved. Now, I think everybody in minor league baseball is 100% striving for the same thing. Like they're all trying to get to the big leagues. You're all trying to get moved up the next level. You want to go to AAA. You're like, oh, I'm one step away from the big leagues. Like this is where you want to have your most success. And I think it's like being dedicated to your own personal process every single day. Like, what does Nick Bennett need to do today to better himself going forward? Like, and that can be as simple as like, hey, like I'm not pitching today. Like I need to recover today because the minor league season is so long. It's a true grind, like you said. And the other thing is you're riding buses, you're not playing in front of Omaha-esque crowds anymore. And don't get me wrong, the environments are still great. Like a summer night in Wisconsin when I was playing in high A, like I loved it. Like they had a good fan base. It was a lot of fun. But I think for any guys that are, it's their draft year, they're striving for that. Like a big thing I did, I feel like if I could go back, I was like a little too not worried, but almost involved in what was to happen later on that was not in my control, So I think like controlling what you can control. I know that sounds really just like cliche and very simple, but it really does go a long way for, guys trying to get drafted or want to move on to the next level, or even guys that are signing free agent deals. Like, I think you can establish your process and like you make that a daily routine for yourself, and then you just kind of let that take you where it takes you type of situation. And for the most part, it's usually going to be beneficial for you.
Yeah, for sure. I can't even begin to try to understand like the moves and the trades that go on in the ML. Like that sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. Right. I know actually one of the guys who I feel like is perfect at dealing with it, who you've gotten to play with a decent amount, is Joey Weimer. He kind of has the ability to just like turn his brain off and not even look into that stuff. I mean,
pick stuff up and go.
Yeah, guy just asked him if there was any rhyme or reason of him going to the Nationals, and he's like, I have no idea, dude.
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing. Like, maybe the people in the front office, maybe they have a rhyme or reason, but like rarely ever is like the player going to get to hear what that rhyme or reason is.
Right.
And if you can do like everything in your power to not even like worry about that rhyme or reason, and just like Joey Weimer's like, hey man, I get to go throw the uniform on again, and that's good enough for me. You know what? Like he's happy with that, and he's mentally stable with that situation, and that's like what makes him a great baseball player. You know what I mean? So like he's not worried about all of like the outside noise of, hey, why am I getting traded over here? Why am I getting, picked up over here? It's just like he does a really good job. Pack your bag up and move along, brother, like just grab it and go. And I think, I mean, you can learn some life lessons off of that type of stuff in the minors, being on a 40-man roster, getting DFA'd off a 40-man roster, getting picked up by another team, getting traded. Like you can try and play like GM all you want, but you probably are not going to have the correct reason as to why those moves are happening. So it's good to just kind of shut that off in your brain, honestly. And that's a great point. I feel like Joey Weimer's done a great job of that.
Yeah. Now talking about, let's talk about this transition that you're kind of going through right now. We just talked about your long playing career, which, by the way, congrats on an unbelievable playing career. You should be very proud of that. You accomplished a lot that people dream of doing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, obviously it did get kind of shortened by an injury, maybe not your timeline that you had played out in your mind. So talk to me just about kind of how this whole transition period's going for you.
Yeah. So I am 6 weeks post Tommy John surgery. Shout out to Dr. Kremchek in Cincinnati. He took really good care of me. I'm going to be honest with you fellas. the will to play the game is 1000% still in my heart.
Yeah.
And, showing up to practice every day and coaching these guys and watching them, run around and do that. Like it's fun for me to watch and I enjoy coaching that. But at the same time, like I got this surgery and like you're not pitching for a year. There's nothing you can do to like, you can speed that process up to a certain degree, but it's not like I got the surgery and 4 months later I'm going to be good to throw a baseball, So, my original thought process was regardless of if I throw a pitch ever again, I want to coach baseball and I want to be really good at coaching baseball and giving back to specifically the college game, in my opinion, because the college game was so good to me that this is where I kind of wanted to start and kind of see where that took me. And Coach Duncan and Coach Birkbeck at Kent State were very, very welcoming and have been so great so far, bringing me in and kind of onboarding me onto the staff in a pretty short amount of time. But to kind of take a few steps back, I had surgery on December 29th. I moved up to Kent, Ohio on January 4th, and my first day of work was January 5th. So it's been a very quick turnaround. I will tell you guys, I am going through the rehab process every day. I go to the Cleveland Clinic up here. They have some great physical therapists that have been doing a really good job taking care of me. I'm working out at 6:30 every morning, so I'm in the gym. My basic daily schedule is wake up in the gym, and then we have our coaches meeting in the morning, and then we have practice after that, and then it's kind of repeat every day. So,
so what I'm hearing is I may have misread a little bit, and there might be some bullets left in that left arm.
I'll be honest with you, JP. You don't go through Tommy John surgery and just kind of hang it up because you kind of have to feel it out in a way. I think the biggest thing my dad has told me through the process is like, you'll know if you can compete again at that level. Like you'll know, like there's not going to be second guessing with that. So like, if I go through the rehab process and, who's to say, in a good spot post rehab, like, I mean, I'm going to want to try. Yes.
Yeah.
But now my heart is definitely at this moment in time in the coaching world. Like I'm loving every second of it, but it also would be like a disservice to me in my career to just go through the rehab and be like, yep, went through the rehab. My arm's good now, but like, who knows if I could pitch? I don't know. Like I'm going to find that out.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
Yeah, I'm gonna find that out on my own, and that's kind of why, like, I'm in the gym. I'm doing some things that are maybe a little different than what I've done in the past. Now I'm still in the middle of rehab, but the brace is off. This week is technically 6 weeks post-op, so I'm starting to be able to, do some more things in the gym. And that's all separate for me from coaching, by the way. Like I take care of that stuff all on my own in the morning. And then once it's like meeting time and practice time, like that's all I'm worried about. I'm making time on my own to take care of that stuff. And that's kind of how you have to do it. If you want to be committed to both things, like, and you absolutely can be, it's an interesting dynamic to say the least, because like, yeah, in the morning I wake up and I work out, and what's driving me is like in my head, I'm like, if I do this for 365 days, 12 months, like there's a chance Nick Bennett can pitch again. And then, you show up to the office for the meeting and, you're doing scouting reports, you're doing all of that type of stuff. And you're like, well, I really enjoy this side of it too. And it's like, you have to be able to balance both of those things. And I think so far I'm doing a really good job of that. So to be honest with you, I'm going to feel it out and see what happens post 12 months. Regardless of that, coaching is what I want to do long term. So
Nice.
Coach Duncan and Coach Birkbeck have brought me on the staff because they think I can be a good baseball coach and help their team out. And that's my number one goal every day. Just wake up and I take care of my stuff on my own by myself. And then it's how can I help Kent State baseball get better today?
Oh yeah. I love that. But yeah, I'm definitely I guess more interested in your rehab career now. I'm pumped to hear. I guess I take back my previous comment. It does not take away the way I feel about your playing career though. So we'll leave that as it is.
Awesome.
But yeah, what do you feel like excites you? Or actually, before we get into that, I also wanted to touch on I know some guys, and like I even noticed it when I was working with some guys hitting, and then obviously you get in the cage and it's not like hitting in the game. But
right.
I'm curious, as you kind of get back into the swing of throwing, on how working with guys every day, trying new stuff with different guys may kind of translate over into helping you out on the mound as well. I feel like I've heard that happen a few times with guys.
Yeah. I think right now, like since I kind of, showed up and have basically been here for a month and the season starting, like my biggest goal showing up was like, I want to get to know these guys on a personal level. And then from there, like we'll start working together as a team. And as a team, I mean like pitcher, me and Coach Birkbeck. Like as a group of 2 or 3, we'll start kind of working together. And it could be a million different things. Is it a mechanical tweak that a guy maybe needs to make? Is it just strictly based off his mentality of what he's doing out on the mound? And like the best way to like kind of get to the bottom of these things, I feel like is me doing a good job of talking to the guys and getting to know them to where they're comfortable around me. Because I'll be honest, like if I was a college baseball player and a guy walked into this position a month before the season started, basically, and didn't really get to see any fall practice or scrimmages or anything, like it would be kind of hard for me to almost trust that guy. So like my goal every day has been to kind of work with these guys on a personal level and get to know them. And then from there, like, hey, is it a mechanical tweak that a guy maybe wants to make? Is it a pitch grip type of deal? And then in my head, I'm thinking like, well, is that something I could benefit from when I start throwing the baseball again, just to kind of tie it all back in together? Like, there's definitely thoughts of that. Like, ooh, I gave this guy a pretty good, like, maybe a tip, or just like gave him some good info that worked for me. And maybe like going forward, I need to remember that for myself. Right. Like maybe that's an issue that I've had on the mound in the past. And like, yeah, I gave good advice, but like if you're a good giver of advice, you have to know to be able to take your own advice too, So like maybe that's kind of where I lie on that situation, is like, hey, I can give good advice, but if it could benefit me when I start to throw the baseball again, like I need to remember that as well. So that definitely has popped up into my head a few times, to where it's like, you kind of have to know, like, you're going to give this guy, maybe he's going to ask a question and you're going to answer it a certain way. And then maybe it's like, ooh, I could use that for myself too, type of situation. So, but it has to like come from the heart in a way with these guys. Like you have to really mean it. And I feel like I'm doing a really good job of getting, like I said, just getting to know them as people. And then we'll get to know you as the baseball player next. So like, I didn't get to watch any of these guys throw in fall scrimmages or anything. I've seen spring scrimmages, and I'm feeling them all out. We're using TrackMan and we're using some data stuff, and guys are getting feedback off that. But then they also ask me like, hey, Nick, like, what did you see? Coach Birkbeck, what did you see? And we're kind of like bouncing ideas off of one another. And that's kind of what I feel like it has been so far is like bouncing ideas off of one another and then being set in stone in our answers for the guys. But that's a good way for me to tie that back to myself as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel, I mean, I know personally I was always a stubborn kid where if I had a coach come in who had not seen me all fall and tried to change my swing a week before the season, I probably wouldn't be
100%.
loving it.
Exactly.
But I have no doubt that like you said, I'm sure you've been doing a great job. You have a lot of feel for the situation where you know where you're at and know what you're trying to do. Right. So that,
and the other good thing is the guy who was in this position before me, his name is Cade McClure, and he was my teammate at Louisville my freshman year. And Cade McClure is now the head pitching coach at Mercer University in Georgia. And so he was here all fall, and he kind of laid the groundwork for these guys. And what I'm doing is just kind of continuing that groundwork in a
right.
way. You know, like you said, I'm not changing anybody. Like these guys have feel for the baseball. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They have feel for, you know, what their mound presence should look like and, you know, what they're trying to do with the baseball pitch to pitch. So it's not really like changing anything. It's like maybe a slight tweak here, just like trying something new. And it's fine to try stuff in practice and whatnot, but like once you're in the game, if you're not comfortable with what you were trying, you got to roll with what you got, you know?
Yeah.
And some days you're not going to have your best stuff, but you find a way and you revert back to like what has worked for you in the past, and that's what you roll with. So I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm kind of learning, and every day is like a new day for me to understand kind of how the pitching staff is working as a unit and as guy to guy.
Yeah, and you kind of just touched on it a little bit as far as some of the advice you're able to give with your playing experience. Talking about having as much experience as you do on the mound, and for the amount of high-level coaches that you've played under, what are some things that you feel like you've learned that you're really excited to kind of pass down to these guys?
I think a lot of it has to do with what's going on upstairs in the noggin for the most part. I feel like when I was in college, the support staff at Louisville did a really good job of like, you know, as much as, you know, people have just like straight up raw talent and, you know, can go out there and throw it 100 miles an hour, but there's also something to be said for how guys kind of act and react in between the ears. So I think at Louisville, I was really prepared in a way, both physically and more specifically, mainly mentally. So like, I think a good thing for me also as being a minor leaguer, like I've had my fair share of rough days throwing the baseball and like, I'm still standing here with a smile on my face, no problem. So like having that like short-term memory almost is like super beneficial. And I think a lot of guys nowadays get a little lost in like, oh, but my stuff is so good. And it's like, well, I'm glad your stuff's good, but like, how tough are you? Like, just not even like take the baseball out of it. How tough are you? You know? So I think Louisville did a really good job of kind of like building and instilling that toughness in all of the guys that were on my team and kind of walk through those doors every day. So that's one thing that I think is beneficial for all college baseball players, because like college baseball might be the first time that a guy like starts to fail a little bit, you know, like most college baseball players were really successful high school baseball players, or they wouldn't get to be a college baseball player, you know? So like that goes for you three, that goes for me, that goes for everybody who played college baseball. Like if you weren't good, you would not have been there. The university would not have had you on the team. So like, that's the thing. Like that's kind of the first time that you might deal with some failure. And like, you have to know how to handle that. And I think that's something that can get lost sometimes, is you have guys here and there that maybe don't know how to handle that. So it's, you know, mental toughness, finding a way to deal with that. Like Kent State's program, we're doing this really cool thing. We have we have a mental skills coach. His name is Bob Tewksbury. He pitched in the big leagues for a long time, but is also has a degree in mental skills, and he works with our team, and our guys can go talk to him one-on-one about stuff if they want to. And then we obviously all meet as a team as well. And I think the guys on the team are benefiting from that stuff. We're doing it over Zoom. He did come in person and met the team and kind of, gave us his spiel early before the season started. But once the season gets going, you're busy. You basically get one off day a week, and then it's practice and all this. So we're doing some Zoom meetings, but I've gotten some feedback from some guys, and they really like just kind of the ability to reach out to him and talk to him if there are some, issues underlying away from the mound that are going on. And then the other thing is, like, I can be a resource for that too. Guys can pick my brain on, hey, how'd you handle this? Or what would you do in this situation? Or just do you use breathing techniques? And there's just a million different things that guys can do because, like I said, college baseball is usually the first time that guys start to have a little failure in their baseball career. And the good ones usually know how to react to that, or the good ones just don't ever have any failure. And, they just keep riding that high. The guys who are getting drafted in the first, second, third round, they probably don't hit a slump until maybe they get into the minors. In college baseball, they're just a step above guys and killing it. So it happens differently for every single player, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's, as far as coaches that have playing experience, especially with the data and video and all the stuff that's out there now, it's a lot of people, if they put in their time, can figure out what it's supposed to look like, right?
100%.
And I feel like that's where the playing experience as a coach really all is about the mental side. And yeah, I always say, I wish, obviously, retiring after 4 years, not playing any professional baseball, not having a great college career, looking back, it's I wish I could walk myself through some of those games and be like, dude, just tell myself to relax. Why are we getting all bent out of shape out over a Saturday game against Wichita State? Yeah, it's a conference game, but dude, in 3 years, you're going to be sitting doing a podcast with your buddies, wishing you could at least just have fun in the batter's box again one more time.
Wishing you could fly out.
You're probably going to go back to the house and have a bite to eat with your buddies, and it's going to be I don't even really remember what happened 4 hours ago. I know I played a game, and I know it maybe didn't go my way that day, but specifically, you're just once you get away from the field, you kind of have to be able to leave it at the field in a way. And I feel like that's something good about college baseball is you're always hanging out with your buddies. So there's somebody on the team who's going to make you laugh or make you kind of forget about what happened earlier. And then you're going to show up to the yard the next day and do it all over again.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, different ways to handle those situations. But that's one thing that I think for me, just even as playing in the minors, I might have struggled one day, but I was really good at just turning the page the next day, or just you have a tough day, go be a good teammate for the guy next to you. Maybe he's struggling too and needs a pat on the back. Even if you're struggling, you can be that good teammate. So I think there's different ways to handle it, but you kind of just have to forget about it and be well, I know I'm going to get another AB, or I know I'm going to throw another pitch after I give up a home run. So it's all perspective, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I feel like once you're out of it, you can shift your perspective.
100%.
You don't totally, you can have guys tell you this as much as you want, but it definitely is hard to kind of fully understand it until you're removed a little bit.
1000%. I couldn't agree more.
All right. Now I got one more question here to kind of round us out. Obviously, like you said, haven't been around for too long, just a few weeks here, but let's talk about the Golden Flashes coming off a big MAC regular season championship last year. In your short time, what you've seen, what can the fans, what can people expect of Kent State baseball this spring?
I'm really excited about our team. I'll tell you this: we're not afraid of any competition. Our first week, just to break it down for you guys, we play Southeast Louisiana State, who won 35-plus games last year, a really quality baseball program. We play them on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Monday, we go to the box, and we're playing LSU.
Let's go.
And then Tuesday, we're coming back home, taking the day off. And then Thursday, we're driving to Tennessee and playing the Volunteers for 3 games. So obviously that might have something to do with all the snow outside, but at the same time, like, we're playing real teams, and I think that's going to help our team as a whole. I'm really excited about our pitching staff. I think we have a lot of guys who do some really cool stuff on the mound in a lot of different ways. And then we are an experienced team for the most part. We do have it's not an older group of guys, but it is a experienced group of guys that have played and have seen what it's like to run through a college baseball season. So in that regard, I like how many games guys have played, how many ABs they've taken, how many times they've showed up and prepped for a weekend series. Like, I do like our built up roster in that regard. And then just kind of from like the hitting and defensive side, I think we're going to be a scrappy team that can also bang it around the yard a little bit. I think we have some guys in the lineup with some juice, and I think we have ways to where we have some fast guys too that, can take bags and make a difference on the base paths. So I'm really excited about the Golden Flashes. Like I said, we've been scrimmaging in the indoor football facility up here, and
gritty.
It's like you guys said, it's gritty. But at the same time, like, you got to work with what you got. And with all the snow outside, since I have been here, I have not even seen what the infield turf or the outfield turf looks like at Kent State University. So what's funny about that is we're supposed to play a home series the 3rd weekend of the year. And my hopes are extremely high for that, but the snow outside is definitely saying otherwise right now. So, but the good thing about all of this is, like, the guys have done a really good job of, like, working with what we have. We go in that indoor, we're getting good work in. We're getting our BP in, we're getting our ground balls, we're getting our cuts and relays, our bunt defense. We're getting all of that in, but we are leaving early to go to Louisiana, which is nice. We're leaving tomorrow. We get in at in the evening at some time, and I think we are practicing tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that's going to give us some time to get outside and get acclimated to, like, what all of this looks like on a real baseball field. So that's exciting, and I know the guys are just like, they're excited for warm weather and just, like, get to swing a baseball bat with a home plate there. And obviously we have a home plate in the indoor football field, but it's like you have the turtle around you, and it's just like
batter's box.
It's gritty. Like, I think we have a bunch of guys who are just chomping at the bit and excited to be on a real baseball field outside with some good weather and get to compete a little bit. So it's going to be good for us. I'm really excited for what we're going to do on the pitching side too. We have some really talented arms that I think are going to kind of make a name for themselves this year, and hopefully help the Flashes win a lot of baseball games.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. I feel like as all of us as baseball players from Cincinnati having to go through the grind of the winter, I feel like it's not always a terrible thing, because you do really get to hone in on the little things and PFPs and all of that stuff. It's more of okay, once you get on the big field, how do you remember what you just worked
Right.
on for 3 months and not
100%.
let the
And
outdoors speed you up?
It's like we're doing, you're moving guys around in the indoor and stuff, and it's like, how can we imagine this on a baseball field? It's like, what's this gonna look like when we actually are on a diamond?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the exciting thing for me is like, I'm just excited to watch our guys like play their real position, and I like know where they're at. Like I know where my third baseman is. I know where he is in the indoor, but I'm really excited to see where he's playing and what his range looks like on the baseball field.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that, definitely. And then, like I said, we have a really good group of guys. I've been here for a short period of time, and I think I'm absolutely getting closer and closer with all of the guys, and I just can tell it's a good group of guys. They all rally around one another, and it's gonna be a fun college baseball season for the Golden Flashes, I think.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to watch you boys up the box.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. We play
See
in
you
Miami.
on midweek madness.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is that going to be the only Monday game on?
It might be. That's a good question.
That's good for the bets, the DraftKings, but that's good for my eyes.
I was gonna say I don't know. It's the first week and technically the second week of the season, so I don't know many teams that are playing a Monday midweek game after 3 games on the weekend.
You get your occasional. I remember last year there's the occasional 4-game series where they don't play a double and they'll play one on Monday.
Gotcha. Or maybe a rain out or something happens one of those days, and they're like, oh, we'll just stay another day and play on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm fired up. We got Monday baseball to watch, boys.
Yeah, you guys got Monday baseball. That's exciting for this trio right here. I know that. I know that.
Let's go.
I know that. But yeah, and the other thing is you got Monday baseball to watch at Alex Box Stadium, which is cool too. I've honestly never been there, so I'm pretty excited to see what that atmosphere looks like. And I know it's a midweek game, and I just am excited to see what those facilities look like and just kind of what they get to operate with on a day-to-day basis. I think is going to be really cool because I mean, there's obviously it's no secret that program's really, really, really legit. So it'll be nice to just kind of see how they go about their business, and obviously we're going to compete with them too. We're going to do our best.
You stuff that number next to their name in your back pocket, and the bases are still 90 feet, the mound's still 60 feet.
I mean, our
got to
kids
work.
are going to come out there expecting to win a baseball game, without a doubt.
Well, Monday night upset for the kids.
Exactly. So
go.
I'm really excited about that. But also Southeast Louisiana. I don't know if you guys know much about them.
That's
but
SLU, right?
Good.
SLU.
Good ball club last year.
They are a really good ball club. Yeah. So that's going to be an exciting 3-game set as well. Not to only just kind of see where we're at with them, but I mean, the goal is to win 3 baseball games, win 1 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. But they're a really quality baseball program. We've been obviously doing our scouting reports on them and whatnot, and they got some quality ball players. So that's going to be a fun series as well for sure.
Last thing, the LSU thing kind of reminded me. Did you ever cross paths with Golden Flashes alum Chris Martin?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was going to say you'll link up with him this weekend.
Yep, I'll be talking to him once we get there. I was actually at the ABCA convention probably about a month ago or so now in Columbus this year, and he was there giving a talk. So I got to run into him and talk to him a little bit, and I just told him, I said, can't wait to see you on that Monday, man. So he's doing a really good job over there, by the way, a really fantastic job.
He's loving it.
I mean, he's doing a really good job, and he told me he's having a lot of fun with it. So that's really exciting for him.
Hell yeah. Well, Nick, I appreciate your time coming on. It's been a blast.
Absolutely.
Getting to chop it up with you a little bit, learn more about this whole transition, and just get you on the pod again before we get rolling in your new coaching career.
Absolutely, JP. Cole, Corey. I appreciate you guys having me on and talking a little ball. And I'm really excited. College baseball's here, man. We're here, and it's been a long time. It's been a long wait, but I'm really excited for it. It's going to be a really exciting season from top to bottom from all the teams. I think college baseball, just to kind of finish us off here, college baseball is one of those games that's like, you kind of feel like you might know who's like going to be at the end, but there's always a little surprise involved too.
Never know.
That's the beauty of college baseball right there. And I'm really excited to kind of just be back involved with that. So
absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we will be locked in on the Golden Flashes this weekend and especially Monday night at the box. But again, Nick, I appreciate you coming on. Best of luck this season and in this new endeavor. And as always, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and
subscribe to the fellas.
Subscribe to the fellas. Help us out a little bit. And we will see you guys Saturday.
Awesome. You guys be good.
Good luck, man. Love to see you.
Appreciate it, Nick.
You see us driving, I needed some inspiring. Peace and quiet, I'm running from the side.